Hi there, self-lovers. It's Katie, your self-love coach. So I wanted to do a Facebook Live for you just now. And then I remembered that here in my office, for some weird reason, whenever I do a Facebook Live, it takes like 5 takes to even get close to getting the message across. So I'm doing you a quick video, but it's live. It's totally off the hoof. It's not thought through particularly. It's a feeling that I wanted to express in the moment, which is what Facebook Lives are really good for, isn't it? Like, just you have this idea and you're kind of going about your day, and then you kind of want to share it with your people. And so my technology here in my office, for some weird reason, isn't allowing Facebook Live. So please receive this as if it's live, okay? I've got a bit of a bee in my bonnet, as happens. It's about, okay, there's a time for everything, right? There is absolutely a time for everything. The seasons, there's a time for every season. There is a time for every different variation of flower to bloom. There is a time for, you know, with gestation, there's a time for conception. There's a time for every part of a new human to develop through its timeline over that 9-month period. And there's a time to be birthed. You know, there's a time for everything. My message today is around when it's time to hustle, okay? And I just had a really great conversation with a woman who I respect greatly. She's doing amazing things in the world. She's incredibly passionate. She's so on purpose with her business. And, you know, she's got some struggle right now. She's up against some blocks. It's like, where's the money? And I know, like, there's, what do I want to say? It's like, there is a time for everything. There is a time, okay, let's look at business. Okay, so if you're in business, and I seem to attract a lot of women entrepreneurs, I definitely attract women who work. Okay, that's who I tend to talk to. If you're up against it with your work for whatever reason, and usually it's the money isn't coming in. Usually there seems to be a block, and you're working hard, you're working yourself into the ground perhaps, and it's just not coming in, and you're frustrated and you're overwhelmed and you don't know where to begin, and you're feeling unsupported, and there's a bit of poor me going on. Like, I get it. Any entrepreneur knows that there can be inconsistencies in business. That's kind of part and parcel, and it's learning to ride that through in a way that's really empowered for you. And anyway, so I was talking to this really amazing woman, and she sounded a little bit victim, you know, and I kind of said, yeah, it sounds like there's a bit of victim going on here. And it was a little bit like, why isn't it working for me? Why isn't the money coming in? I'm doing this, or I haven't got the time, and, you know, all that overwhelm, like the big picture perspective on her business had her in major overwhelm, and it had her feeling like she didn't know where to start first. And I kind of, while we were chatting, I got this image in my mind of, like, you know, the Roadrunner cartoon, and, you know, Roadrunner, before he like zooms off, he's like on the spot, and his little legs are going like this, and there's smoke and dust flying everywhere, but Roadrunner's not moving. He's like this. That's how she's feeling. And I think any entrepreneur, anybody, when we feel like we're at that place in business, that's what it feels like. You're like this, and there's lots of doing, there's lots of smoke being created, but there's no response. The money's not coming in. And she's there, and there's a little bit of victim going on. So I was like, okay, well, there's a time and a place for victim. I totally get that. I do a lot of work with women around the victim, because it's a lot of work that I've had to do on myself and my own experience. And I call it healing the original victim. So I think most of us, when we're experiencing the victim as an adult, often the emotional hook goes right back to childhood, and it goes right back to experiences throughout our life where we legitimately were the victim, and that part of us has just never been acknowledged, and it's never been honored, it's never been expressed and felt, you know, it's never been loved. That part of us hasn't been loved. We've kind of made ourselves wrong for it, and then as an adult we're in victim. So When in business you feel like a victim and you feel like the world is plotting against you and the clients aren't coming in and the money's not coming in and whatever the victim story is, poor me, I'm working so hard but it's still not happening, honor that. That's okay. There's a time for that. There's a time for honoring that part of you. I was saying to this woman today, I had a major victim moment last week. I've been desiring to sell a house for 8 years, and there's a big story behind it. It's a house that I own with my ex, and yada yada yada. We finally got it on the market, and then a year later we finally got a buyer. That was 5 months ago, and we're meant to exchange next week, and it's all systems go, and I'm like, yes, I'm finally freeing myself of this weight in my life. I don't want it anymore. And our buyer fell through. And those that know me well, those of you that know me well, know that that's big. That's like, oof, that's a bit of a knock. And when I got this information last week, oh my God, I mean, I was angry with God. I was angry with God. I literally was like, how are you not on my side? And I gave myself the opportunity to feel it because it was true. You could judge it right or wrong, but I felt it. I felt like God wasn't on my side in that moment. I felt let down. I had all these victim stories about, but why me? Why is it taking so hard? Why can't I let it go? I'm so clear on the vision and the desire. Why isn't it happening? I got really angry. I had a good cry. And then I used my tools and I journaled and I experienced and I expressed my emotions around it. And actually, I felt so emotionally drained by the experience that I went and had a nap for half an hour. I set my alarm. I knew that I wasn't going to get any solid work done that day if I didn't just honor where I was at in that moment. That whole process probably took about an hour and a half. Had I not allowed myself to acknowledge my victim, to express her, to give her a nap, like to really honor everything that she was going through, that hour and a half spent on that, actually I'd have wiped my day, and I probably would have wiped the next few days because it just would have like taken me over. I would have remained in victim, which would have shut me down. So there is a time and a place for acknowledging the victim. Yes. And I had this conversation with this woman today. Yes. Time and a place for that. And there's a time and a place for calling on God. You know, there's a time and a place. Well, actually, to be fair, I think the idea is that we are always in connection with source energy and with the universe. Absolutely. Like all of the feminine energy work I'm doing with women, the harnessing of that part of us is to have us so switched on, so turned on, so connected internally and with source that life feels easier and in so much more flow. Like that's so powerful. It's so powerful. If you're operating in your masculine, you have got to match that and have your empowered masculine happening, but have your empowered feminine, because that's when ease and flow comes into your day-to-day experience. So yes, there is a time, and I believe there is always a time to be connected internally and externally with source. And actually it is all one. There's no internal, external. So, you know, when it comes to feeling frustrated in your business, make sure you remember to ask for support. Ask your guides, your angels, ask the universe to line it up. If you don't have an answer to something, ask to be shown the way, ask to be shown the answer, the solution. So there is that dialogue required. And, you know, meditation and journaling and spiritual practices are all awesome for that. And there is a time and place for your spiritual practice. There is a time and place for your meditation. There's a time and place for your journaling. Absolutely. And there's a time and a place to hustle, to really engage the masculine. That you cannot sit on your meditation cushion all day long and pray and hope something's going to change, because it ain't. You know, you got to meet the universe. The universe will meet you where you're at. So you do your inner work, you put out your requests, you ask for help, and then you meet it and you hustle. And that's, I mean, I'm 9.5 minutes in and I haven't even got to my point. You got to hustle. And this was the conversation with this wonderful woman today. I was like, there's a bit of victim going on here, and that's okay. So honor it. honor it, feel through that, and then move on. And yes, don't forget to ask source. Don't forget to be in connection with the universe, because you're not on your own in business. You are not, you never are. And when you forget, it's because you're in your masculine and you have forgotten to call in the feminine. You're not doing that work, that inner meeting of those two energies. That requires work. It's a big part of what I'm doing with women. And then you've got to fucking hustle. You've got to hustle. You've got to do the work. You've got to get out there and you've got to get back to basics. Like, do you have a to-do list? Pretty simple. We all forget. Have you written your to-do list? Have you then prioritized from, you know, what's the most important to least important, so you know where to begin? Have you timelined it over your week or month, that to-do list? Are you blocking out your time so you're using your time wisely? So have you got chunks of time in your diary each week for creation, like creating new products, for writing press releases, for writing that web page, or, you know, whatever it is, you know, creation time? Have you carved out time in your diary every week or month for focusing on your finances and getting those in order? You know, where our attention is at is where we've got momentum and energy in our life. If we're ignoring our finances, if we're ignoring our money, and so it is, it's ignored, it's not going to be coming in either. So create time for that. Create time for client contact, if you have actual clients, or like whatever it is, but chunk out the time. Look at the big picture, then chunk it down. It's kind of basic NLP though. We talk a lot about chunking down. And like chunk it down into little bite-sized pieces that you can manage, so you're not overwhelmed by the big picture. This is part of the hustle, right? Getting back to basics, chunking down from the big picture to the minute detail, ordering it in list of priorities. And if your thing is the money's not coming in, when you look at what you've got to do, the first question you ask yourself is, what is income generating? What is actually going to bring in some money? Because here's the thing, I'm talking with so many women at the minute who have big desires. And the two things that keep coming up for them is, I don't have the time and I don't have the money to do what I want to do. And then you kind of work through the time conversation and you're like, yeah, well, you know, we create time for what we really desire. We create time for what we value. So then it comes to, well, I don't have the money. And I get it. I know. And the black and white of the situation is, I don't have the money. So then you hustle. You hustle. How do you get what you want? Don't okay, honor the victim, that part of you that feels like she doesn't have the money. But don't be the victim to money. Don't be a victim to money. Money is just an energy. It's just an energy, and you're giving it all of your power by saying, I can't have what I desire because I don't have the money. You're giving away your power. You are an intelligent woman. You got to do whatever it takes. If you desire something, what are you going to do? How are you going to make that work for yourself? You know, I have great conversations with James about the hustle that I was in for the last 8 years. You know, before meeting him, being a single parent, starting a business from scratch, starting a home from scratch. Like when I left my son's father, I had nothing. And I'm not exaggerating. I didn't have a car. I probably had about £100 in the bank. And you know what? I should go back to my bank accounts and look at the date and see. It was about £100. I didn't even have cutlery. I had nothing. I had a bag of clothes for him and me. And we started from scratch, right? That was 8 years ago. We started from scratch. So I had to fucking hustle. I had to make it work. I had desires. I had dreams. I wanted to create a certain life for my son. I wanted to create a life for me. I had passion. I had a business to create. I had other women's lives to help transform. And I had to make it work. I wasn't going to say, you know, I'm not going to go for that coach training certification. It's really expensive. I really want it, but I don't have the money. I fucking hustled. I hustled. I remember about 3 years ago, my heart so desired to take my son, who was, 7 at the time. I wanted to take him to Lapland. We had Christmas. Okay, so the victim could have gone, oh, Christmas is coming. You're on your own again. You have no family around you. My family are in Australia. It's just you and him again. Christmas Day. Like, how sad, how depressing. You know, and I did feel like that. Like that was true. And my desire, my heart was like, you're more than that. You're more than that, victim. And my spirit knew this is a blip of time in your life. It's not going to always be like this. Create what you want to create. Create what you can create with who you are and what your circumstances are right now. My desire was to take him to Lapland. He was the perfect age. He believed in Santa. It was going to be a magical experience. Now, I remember at the time it was £3,000 for a 4-day trip. It included Christmas Day itself, so it gave us somewhere to be and something to do on actual Christmas Day. And it was fulfilling a dream. It was £3,000, and I did not have anywhere near £3,000. I remember it was like 2 months before Christmas. And I just didn't have it then. I was investing a lot in my business. My business then wasn't nearly as successful as it is now. Coming up with £3,000 for a 4-day holiday, right? Not to mention other costs associated with that and Christmas presents and all that comes with that Christmas holiday season. Like, where the freak was I going to get that money from? But I had the desire. It's like, I have to do this. This is once in a lifetime. I knew the time was now. I hustled. I made it happen. I can't remember exactly how, but I brought in some clients, you know, like, I was like, right, back to basics, chunk it down. What are income generating activities? What am I doing every day to be in relationship with Source, to co-create, because I'm not on my own? Where am I in victim? How can I honor that? How can I move away from that in a healed, empowered place and make my dream happen? You know, too often I see women in this, and I've talked about this a lot, I see women in this either or energy. They have the desire, but they don't allow themselves to have it all. It's either or. What about and? What about I'm gonna have my business and I'm gonna spend time with my family. I'm gonna support that friend or relative who really needs me. I'm gonna be there for my child, and I'm gonna be there for my desires. And I'm not going to give my power away to money and have that take it away from me. No, I'm in charge of me and my life and my desires. I have the power, and it's driven by love. I have the power. Money doesn't have the power. Time doesn't have the power. My family and friends don't have the power. I don't need to disempower myself by giving my power away to everything external. I have the power. My desire is my power. It's my fuel. It's my passion. From that place, I can create anything. 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 And I say this as a woman, as I said, who has been there with no money and very little time. Like, talk about hustling, like trying to figure it out with not a lot and a baby in nappies. And like, I've been there. I've been there. I've been there. Like, this is making me emotional. I'm so passionate about this. These aren't just nice words that I'm saying. Do you get that? Like, this is the truth. And this is why I do the work that I do. Because I had to take a stand for me once upon a time. And I continue to. And it wasn't even my choice that I have been put on this earth to take a stand for you. I take a stand for you. I take a stand for you as a woman who knows she wants more and she just doesn't know how to get it. Because I was that woman. I take a stand for you when you're really fucking scared and you don't know how to get what you want. Put your faith in me. Put your trust in me. That's what I'm here for. I didn't choose to be here doing this work. Thankfully, I bloody love it. Thankfully, it drives me. Thankfully, it is absolutely my purpose. This is the truth of how life works. Do you feel me? Like, you can have what you desire. And I know how it feels to feel so utterly blocked to claiming it. I know. It doesn't mean you can't have it. Allow yourself to feel blocked. Allow yourself to feel victim. Acknowledge that, you know, and forgive yourself that you put your power in the hands of pieces that are external to you. You're not alone. We all do it. You get scared. We all do. It doesn't mean you can't have what you want. And sometimes, which was the original message I was coming on with, is you've got to hustle. You've got to work it. Do not sit back and take it. You know what? The feminine, this is why I'm so passionate about doing work around the feminine, and I'm talking with a lot of women around this at the minute, because my Daring and Mighty Love mastermind program, which begins next week, like 80% of that program is about honing your feminine energy. The feminine is absolutely, her energy is like this, you know, her heart's exposed. She's all about surrender. She's surrendered in such a powerful way. She's so vulnerable and she's so powerful in her vulnerability. And she's so trusting, she has such faith that she's supported. She's supported by God, the universe, source. She's supported. She knows that. She knows. A woman who is connected to her empowered feminine knows this. Life is easy. She's magnetic as a result. What you want comes in. The empowered feminine is an absolute magnet for the empowered masculine. The masculine being men, money, work, the world. That's the masculine. You want to attract in and magnetize with ease and grace a positive, empowered masculine experience. You got to be the empowered feminine. It's the inner work. So 80% of this module I'm doing is all about this work. And the feminine who is surrendered, she's not giving in. This isn't giving in. It's not giving up. This is giving in and giving up. Do you see the energy difference? The surrender is powerful. It's like, because I have utmost trust and faith that what I want is coming in for me. I know it. I know it. And I know Source is co-creating with me. And I'm hustling too. And I can bring in my masculine. My masculine supports my feminine desire. My masculine will go into the hustle. It will figure it out. It will go into my head and decide, okay, income generation, what's that going to look like? Boom, 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 boom. The masculine will support the feminine, who is utterly immersed in her desire. She is relentless about her desire. She never lets go of her desire. She never says, maybe not this time, maybe it's just not my time. Her time is when she feels the desire. That's her time. It's not, oh, maybe there's a better time for me, it's just not really my time now to claim my desire. The time to claim your desire, when you have the desire, it's now, it's there. You don't put it off. The feminine, the empowered feminine knows that, and she invites the masculine in to support her in getting it, because she knows she deserves it. I feel really passionate about this, and I really hope that this is ringing true for you. I hope that there's one word or one sentence in this pseudo Facebook Live that is speaking to you. This is my absolute truth, and I really am unapologetic about it, because I ain't sat here some kind of privileged woman who has found life easy and then thinks she can tell you how to live your life. It's not where this is coming from. I've been there. You know, been down in the dirt. I know what it takes to create a desire. I know whenever I've been choosing a coach, what it's taken for me to make that happen. Every single time. It has never been easy. It's never been, like, my heart knew it was an easy choice. My heart knew I had to do it. My heart knew it was my time. But my ego was like, do you really have the time? Do you really have the money? Where's the money going to come from? Or you don't have the money, so no. You can't. Like I have every single time I sign up to something that is going to stretch me and take me where I want to go. Whether that be a trip to Lapland or hiring, a 40 grand coach, right? Like I have it every time. But then I will never, ever, ever stop taking a stand for my heart and for my desire. I will never, ever stop believing that I am one with and connected with an energy that's so much greater than anything our little human brains can ever begin to understand. That source energy has my back all the time. Every single time I pull an angel card, I'm like, oh my God, that's exactly what's going on for me. And that's kind of still a real novelty for me, but it's true. It's just reflecting to me the truth that I am connected and I'm supported and I'm loved, and so are you. Anyway, it's 25 minutes here and this was going to be like a 5-minute chat. I hope that you've stuck with this. I really do. And I love you. And I'm sharing this with you because I love you and because I want to help, and I'm here to help. And if you want my support on any level, get in touch with me, send me a message, post below this video. I would love to read what came up for you while you're watching this. How, out yourself where you're being a victim, out yourself where you're playing small and you're not hustling, out yourself where you're not giving yourself your desires, and make a commitment. Do it in this group. Commit to what you're going to do to change. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? It's up to you. Self-love is self-responsibility, right? I love you. Have a beautiful day. Bye.